Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline. It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Good morning, right here on Global Television. It is a first day, and we are so excited to be here today. Well, Global Morning comes with a whole lot. I want to say good morning to Nigerians, good morning Abuja, and good morning to the world. We want to give you a full assurance today that today is a bright day, it's a beautiful day, and we have come to keep you abreast with everything happening, if not all, majority of the things happening. That's what Global Television do. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, well, Christmas is everywhere. The way it's breezy today, you don't need anyone to tell you that yes, Christmas is really somewhere around the corner. Thank God for life. But then, I think a lot happening, and we'll be talking about it bit by bit today until we get into the discussion for the day. And of course, Queen Agaba is right here. Queen came in with a whole lot of promises and excitement. I think her night was that kind of beautiful night that anyone would ever love to have.
Good morning, good morning, Ramsey. Absolutely, my night was beautiful. I slept well, particularly because it's the Harmattan season. You know, the Harmattan season enables you to, just that bit of fresh air. I don't know, for me, I particularly like the Harmattan season, and it reminds me of Christmas. I always look forward to Christmas because of the Harmattan. When I see the Harmattan season, there's a different kind of feeling. I don't know if it's that of how you remember some things from the past, nostalgic feelings and all of that. But this morning particularly, I did not want to wake up because it was really cozy, it was breezy. I was, of course, covered up and, enjoying my sleep, and I did not want to wake up. But I had to wake up to be here to kickstart Global Morning with you. And then coming out, it's really windy outside, really, really, really windy. I don't know if maybe I've observed the Harmattan this period, and the winds, of course, it's been windy, some sort of dry, because before you know it, your skin, your body becomes dry if you're not well moisturized. But today's Harmattan, today's weather is really different. You could tell it's been windy since, of course, I was sleeping, but at intervals I wake up sometimes to use the restroom, wake up to pray and all of that. But I've observed that the winds,
If you check out the level of security that was at the National Assembly yesterday, you will be surprised. And of course, I wasn't surprised because of the security situation that we have in the country. And that's not all. The president's arrival yesterday was a signal to so many things. Before his arrival, some of the journalists were actually expecting that some persons were going to speak to the media before his arrival, but everywhere was calm. Everyone was seated. The Senate president was seated. It was a combined house yesterday. And when he entered and the real thing started, you can see the atmosphere. You can see that someone says something. He said, hey, now as it is, that the president is standing here to present the budget, the 2025 budget. There is no party differences right here. Everyone is one party right now. But then I think one very important thing is the fact that the House was unanimous, you know, and when the president started, he said something and it's making round. Then he said, well, all of you stand to be elected. You know, someone was like, where I was, because we had to show it live. The coverage was live. It was a live coverage from Global Television. We connected live. And someone that was beside me just looked at me and said, hey, come on, this is a house made up of people from different parties. You know, so that statement, you know, a politician is a politician. Any time, any day. I was even telling, you see, at that point, there is nothing like party, and that's what we pray for in Nigeria. When it's that time, when people will say, okay, I am a Nigerian and not a Northerner, not someone from the West, not a Southerner. Okay, we are one, irrespective of your party, the differences, the languages, the tribe and tongue. We are one as Nigeria, and we will do better when it comes to that. So when that statement was made yesterday at the National Assembly, some persons looked at themselves, and the person that was by my side looked at me, and I just responded with a smile, because I already knew what was happening. But eventually, it's going to spill into January, as the case may be. And one very, you know, Adams Oshumole have his way, you know, of speaking to the media. There was a statement he made yesterday while he was speaking to the media, and he said, well, the president has taken a whole lot into consideration before coming up with that budget. That budget doesn't just fly from the sky and land it. And the provision for debt settlement is one thing for me. Keep settling debt and keep borrowing. I'm looking forward to a time when Nigeria will not be borrowing anymore, but rather other countries will come and be borrowing from Nigeria. So we're looking forward to 2025. 2025 is not far anymore. We just have a few, I think we're counting
about 10 days, 10, 15 days.
Are you kidding me? This is serious. So this is how we're going to say bye-bye to 2024. My God. A lot of people don't forget 2024 in a hurry.
What were the significant events that happened that why people wouldn't forget 2020?
The experience. The experience. The economic.
The year 2020, I would have said yes.
No, 2020. No, what happened in 2020 was full of insinuations, and that's why it happened the way it happened. But this year, things that have not happened before. Someone will tell you, I've not had this kind of experience before. You know how it was after the subsidy removal when this administration came into office. Well, we're not totally saying the removal of subsidy was what brought that, but that the economy was hanging at a point. Then when the subsidy was removed, the thing now fell, and Naira began to fall like a stone just because of some policy, all in a bid to put things right, to put things straight. But then the president has told us that there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and so many things happening on the internet. As a matter of fact, so many things happening on the internet. But then, if you're traveling, a safe trip, and just make sure you don't travel because you just want to travel, so that you don't come back complaining of the economy. This is time for wisdom, as a matter of fact, because 2025 holds a lot. Well, we are waiting for what will happen to the budget at the end of January. I think by January we should know, because I'm already spilling into January, as a matter of fact.
My concern, when you said the president said that at the end there will be light at the end of the tunnel, my question is, how long is this tunnel we're talking about? It's not even about the light, or why can't we have light in between that tunnel? And then who knows how long the tunnel is? how long are we going to be tired, drop at some point before getting to the end of the tunnel? And then why can't we just...
Like someone said, someone made a statement. I saw it on X when he was saying the president didn't remove subsidy for a bad reason, and a lot of Nigerians are saying the same thing. This subsidy removal was for a reason, but someone said something, and the person said the subsidy removal wasn't an issue. It wasn't an issue at all, but then the immediate removal in assumption of office, that it would have been done gradually, not just at once. Remove it a little bit, because as the damages are happening, we can be correcting it. All right, that's just an insinuation. Sometimes if you are not the one in the field playing the game, you wouldn't know how it is as a spectator. But then I think there will be light at the end of the tunnel, like the president has said. But then we need to just get a beam of the light. You were asking how deep the tunnel is. I wouldn't know too. But then I think there is a tunnel, and having light at the end of the tunnel will be very good for Nigerians. It is still Global Morning with Ramsey and Queen. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll take you through the national dailies for the day. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is the time where we bring you to speed with the major headlines for the day. It's a bright day here, and we have some dailies with us, beginning with the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's see how trustworthy the Daily Trust newspaper is this morning. The Star paper, the Star headline for the day says, as scores of children feared dead in Ibadan Carnival Stampede. Two riders to that story. Parents demand release of corpses. Then the second rider says, organizers arrested. This is so unfortunate. The organizers, as at yesterday, were denying, and of course, that they never held any carnival, but then lives have been lost. And that's on a sad note, especially in a time like this season that people should be celebrating and rejoicing. Some people will be going to the mortuary, some people will be burying their children. It is unfortunate one to say, may the soul of the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. Now to the budget. Above the Star story, you have this one. The kicker says a 2025 budget. Security gets lion's share, gobs 14.5 trillion naira in 5 years. Onion hits 250,000 naira per bag. Farmers, traders blame flooding and inflation. Flooding and inflation. We had a lot of flooding this year, especially the one in Maiduguri. You know, this is what a lot of people don't know. Most of the crops that we have, especially talk of rice, talk of onions, majority of the crops that we get, that we use and consume in this country, apart from the west, the north, central, which is the food basket of the nation, Benue to be specific, majority comes from the north, and the flooding has affected a whole lot. Can you imagine? Onions, 250,000 naira per bag. We're talking about onions here. Well, I think a lot of people are going to do without onions this Christmas, as the case may be. I don't know what it contributes to the food anyway. Now to another headline still on the Daily Trust newspaper, where we have this one saying, CBN restricts POS agents to 1.2 million naira daily transaction, 100,000 for customers, 100,000 naira for customers, right? You can't get more than that. Abizem says a PDP crisis, that's the kicker. North Central leaders meet in Abuja, insist on chairmanship. Details of that you can get on page 12 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Total Energies, MRS, Sahara, others win 25 new oil blocks. Details on page 22. $1 billion loan, that's the kicker. Your statement misleading. Dangote replies NNPC. That's talking about NNPC's stake in Dangote refinery. They said $1 billion is the loan that was taken, but NNPCL is saying they have a stake, and what they've actually said is their contribution is what Dangote is saying it's misleading. If you want to get the details of that, you can pick it. A copy of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And now to the last story that I'll be taking on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Victims cry out as FCTA demolishes 20,432 structures. All right, I take that again because this is very important to people. I think the last time there was this heat is during the former minister, or the one-time minister, not even the former. It's a former anyway, but then I think some administrations have come after him talking about El-Rufai. That's when people had this heat. But then some riders to that story. The first rider says natives threaten to go spiritual. The second rider, lawyer, seeks adequate compensation and notices. No going back on exercise. That's coming from Wike. The demolition is going to happen. And the Senate even said, well, pipe low, just put a stop to it for a little bit, for just a while. But he said, I won't stop. I will continue doing it. And on the papers this morning, he's still saying no going back. But then what the people are saying is, let there be a proper compensation. On what grounds is this compensation being done? Is it houses that have papers that were allocated by the government, or just shanties where people just put up structures to live? But then, as it is, some persons will tell you that no matter what you do, the FCT, the city centers cannot contain everyone, and that's why we have satellite areas in most of the cities of the world, and even in Nigeria, here Abuja, even in Lagos, we have people living in shanties. If you must take these people out of the shanty, as a matter of fact, no one would in his right senses want to live in a shanty, but then the economy of the nation and what they have could only afford that, and that's why they are there. So if you're talking about compensation here, who will be compensated? What are the things to be taken into consideration before this compensation is being done? But talking about notice, that's good enough. Give people enough notice so that they can relocate. Someone was sharing her ordeal with me some years back when her father's house was actually demolished. The question is, after the demolition, what's next? Because she said, after the demolition till now, this is about 5 years or more down the line, nothing has been done in the place. Okay, so these people have been rendered homeless, but the said place has not been used for anything, and that's where the question comes in.
And it will interest you to know that most of these shanties, people pay heavily to live in these places. They pay according to their pockets. It might be on the high side. So I found, we also saw that video that came out on social media in Lagos, under a particular bridge in Lagos, where people pay as much as 100,000 naira to live there, and even thereabouts. Very small, that's like living outside. And they pay 100,000 naira thereabout to live in such
under the bridge.
And so if these people can afford 100,000 naira, and while they are being evacuated, taken out of these places because ideally it's not right for them to live there, I think that affordable houses can be made for these people who can stay not necessarily in the city center but around these areas. Houses can be built for them if they can afford to pay 100,000 naira to live there. That 100,000 naira, they can get it, and then affordable houses should be given. Quite frankly, they need the notice, and then just how we were talking about the Lagos coastal line, and then how some buildings were had to be taken away just to ensure that this project is a success, only to discover that it wouldn't be a success because of the network lines that we have around those areas. And then they had already demolished certain buildings, businesses of people, and that's quite disheartening. First of all, before we give people notices of living places like this, now we're not talking about the shanties alone. Let us ensure that these places have due diligence has been done, investigations, proper research has been done to ensure that before we take people out of their businesses, or even if they're going to be compensated, it's not going to be easy for them starting all over again. Ensure that due diligence is done so that you don't take people out, you don't demolish or bring down their structures only to leave that place the way it is. Now we're not able to
that's the pain.
They're not able to do anything.
And the people have been displaced already. Nobody know how well they were even compensated. Looking at the price of things in the market right now, building materials are very expensive right now as we speak. While you were speaking about Lagos State, I could remember there was a day I went to Ijora Olopa in Lagos. Under that bridge, you see a family living under the bridge, and don't be surprised that they are even paying for it. So if there's anything the government needs to do is affordable housing. At least people should be able to get houses, even if it is through mortgage or in whatever way. Because if you walk through Abuja alone, there are estates that are being inhabited by just birds. Okay, no one living there, bats, and there are people who are being displaced from where they are supposed to live. I think something needs to be done. Those houses, irrespective of who has those houses. It should be confiscated. Some of the houses, some of the properties that are even being confiscated, what is it being used for at the end of the day? At least Nigerians should be allowed to live there, even if they will have to pay something very small. Like we're talking about someone being able to pay as much as 100,000 naira in Nigeria to live under the bridge. If that person have an affordable house somewhere, even if it's not too big, they will want to pay. So that's what we're talking about. All right, let's get to the newspaper. This is going to be the size of the headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper as I hand you over to the capable hands of Queen.
Yes, you're in the capable hands, my capable hands now, as we're looking at the Punch newspaper for you. Big story here on the Punch says, Ibadan Funfair tragedy. Oni's ex-wife orders face probe as 32 children feared killed. Whoa, this is quite disheartening. UCH, 2 others confirmed 16 deaths. Makinde vows justice, sympathizes with parents. I look forward to looking at the stories here. I don't know which of the Oni's ex-wife organized this funfair in Ibadan, but there's a particular one of the Oni's wife who is an evangelist. I think it must have been the last wife that divorced him. She usually organizes funfair like this for children, particularly towards Christmas. And the headline says, Oni's ex-wife and others face probe as 32 children feared killed. I want to believe that there must have been some sort of disaster or during the funfair. But we find that story on page 4 and 5. This is quite disheartening. And I just want to reiterate that when we have children, when we have gatherings that are going to require children being there, or when we organize parties for children, we need to be extra careful. There was a time a story broke out where a child died in an amusement park in Lagos because that child was electrocuted. They were having funfair and then there were naked wires around. When you have this bouncy castle, you have those merry-go-rounds and all of those things, and these things are connected. You have pop cycles and all of that, and then you have wires, because this is some of them are electrical, and then you have wires connected. And people were talking about the negligence of that vendor for having a naked wire where children walk around and run around. That's the high seriousness.
One thing for me stays. Number one, the organizers of these events will need to be careful. We're talking about children here. They may even see that naked wire and they pick it up.
Yes, put it in their mouth.
Put it in their mouth. It's as bad as that. So children need to be guided. Even if you're taking a child out, all right, the parents need to be there to even supervise whatever they are doing. If you're taking your child for a funfair, you need to be there with them. And if the organizers really want to make this thing a success, the supervision should be top-notch. Okay, because we're talking about children here. They don't even see a child may be seeing danger, and they will not pick it up. They will just go there. So it's so unfortunate,
It's really unfortunate. And then we see that the number here is not just 1, not just 2, and this is 32 children feared killed. We need to take precautions this season. On top of the leaflet of the Punch, we have AGF to meet Senate panel on tax reform bills today. We also have PSC promote over 8,000 police officers. And then cash scarcity, OPS for CBN's limit on POS withdrawal. Yeah, the CBN has put a limit to the amount of money that POS operators can now withdraw. I think it's now at 1.2 million naira or 1 million naira.
1.2, yeah.
And so that has created.
And the customer is going to get 100,000.
Yeah.
Much more.
So and that has limited, the amount of money people can withdraw. And then scarcity as well, because when you go to POS agents, most of POS, I tried using a POS yesterday, and I was told that I could not withdraw above 3,000 naira. And
that's how they make more money.
That's because of the limits that has been placed. So it has affected them, and so for them to get that return, they also have to limit.
What's the give out?
withdraw what they give out. And because of the season, most people just like to take advantage of the season. And it's Christmas season, people need cash and all of that. But outside of that, we need to also understand. But the federal government has also told deposit money banks to make this cash available and ensure that there's no scarcity. But I don't know why we still have this limit. And again, one thing with us is that we like to take advantage of this, seasons, opportunities, which is not supposed to be so, and making life more difficult for us than it already is. Some people charge as high as almost 700 naira to withdraw 10,000 naira.
Sure.
It's more like we're going back.
It's not 1,000.
Where we were buying cash, in earlier this year. 2023, I beg.
Yeah, 2023. This 2023 December we had the same issue during the Naira redesign in Nephilate's time.
I wonder why.
But then, if CBN is saying the commercial banks should make this money available, cash available, who is supervising the process? It's beyond just saying it. You don't just say something and sit down without supervision. Who is monitoring the commercial banks? You are the father of all the banks, the CBN. Put out monitoring teams to make sure these things are done orderly, this thing works. But then you just make a statement on paper and you go to sleep. It wouldn't work. We know the kind of country that we have. So, well, it's not a good one. More so that's always happening during the Yuletide, yeah.
Well, we move on. We have right here Saraki, Plateau Governor, North Central bigwigs demand PDP chairman's slot. You find that story on page 29 of the Daily Punch. Federal government plans 13 trillion naira loan as Tinubu presents 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget. And also gridlock grounds Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as driver dies in crash. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, we hear time and time again of crashes along that express, and particularly during Yuletide seasons. And then this particular incident has caused a gridlock around that area. I hate to see that when it's festive season, motorists or commuters have to spend long period of time on the road because of gridlocks, traffic, accidents, and
some people have to sleep on the road.
Yes, they will have to sleep on the road. People who
traveling for Christmas.
Traveling for one, people like to put their events towards this time because family members will have to attend. So people are having marriages during Christmas period. People are having a lot of things in their hometown so that everybody coming around can take advantage of this season present. And it's just a sad thing. I pray that nobody loses their loved one in this season. And I also want to implore drivers to be more careful. It's the season, and drivers are trying to meet targets. They're speeding, they're rushing to deliver and go back. Some drivers even go as much as 4 round trips depending on the journey. If it's from Abuja to Makurdi, they want to ensure that they go at least even 5 times if possible. Round the clock.
I don't think that will be possible. 5 times.
Round the clock, maybe twice. Just round
it's
5 trips.
We're saying these things now. If you know what happens, majority of the accidents, the incidents we have this period is because drivers sleep on the steering. Sometimes they go to take things to keep them awake, but you can't cheat nature.
Exactly.
And you try to make money at the expense of your life. It's not the best. So whatever money you were not able to make from January until December, it's not in December, in just 1 month that you are going to make this money. So we need to be careful. And even the passengers too, we need to talk to the drivers, caution the drivers, road safety officers on the highway. Make sure you carry out your duties diligently, the law enforcement agents, so that we have less crash. I think there was a report that we have less crashes this year, maybe because people were faced with so much. But then, as you're traveling this season, don't overspeed. Don't try to make the money you were not able to make from January until November. It's not December that you make all the money. So your life is more important. Don't drink and drive.
Exactly. And to transport companies as well, do everything possible to educate your drivers this season. let them not overspeed, let them not
Yeah, the speed limiter, is it even working? The speed limiter that Federal Road Safety Corps talked about, is it really working? We don't really know if that was really enforced, because I know of some transport companies in the east that had it then. Okay, if it is still enforced, it should be checked. This is the right time to use the speed limiter here.
Exactly. So caution your drivers, and also passengers should be extra careful of the vehicles that they enter. And not only that, to drivers as well, but to passengers as well this season, because we have had increased cases of one chance recently, because it's the festive season as well. A colleague of ours who happens to be in the hospital, we went to see her, and I was just hearing yesterday that somebody in that ward where she was admitted came in with stabs, wounds and everything as a result of one chance attack on the lady who happens to be there. And I've had instances, I particularly know someone who is a church member who was kidnapped, just last week Friday. And we've been hearing cases of these one chance operators because it's festive season and they are also desperate to make money, and so we have to be extra careful. I know that we say when we want to get into vehicles, you go to designated parks, but sometimes those designated parks requires you to commute. You need to take a vehicle to those designated parks where you're going to take a vehicle to wherever it is you're going, and that's where the along factor comes in, where you stand on the road and get a vehicle that takes you there. Be careful. We cannot the much of the work lies in the hands of road transport authorities, agencies, but we should try to be careful. Look at plate numbers, and if it's possible, don't be in a hurry to enter a vehicle. It's most instances because passengers are in a hurry, they want to just quickly jump in. Don't be in a hurry, take your time. If the driver cannot wait for you, let them move.
They should go.
No driver will hurry you in and tell you you're wasting
enter. Or they want to put you in the middle. You need to be wise.
Some people, because of that, when a person hurries you or tries to trigger you, just let them go.
Just take your time.
If it's possible to take plate numbers of the vehicle and just
do them fine.
Everybody before you get
go
into
ahead and do it.
It's the festive season. Let's be careful. Our last story on the Punch newspaper is around the Edo. I don't know if you can take that for me. Edo, on the Punch newspaper, we have a last story there. 18 Edo local government chairman failed suspension of Babolo orders probe. You find that on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Well, that's all the stories we have for you on the Punch newspaper.
All right, we're trying to get closer to the AM news, but then before we get into the AM news, let's quickly look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. Where the Star story is talking about Tinubu eyes 15% inflation rate from 49.7 trillion naira budget to spend 2% on agriculture. All right, that is the 2025 appropriation bill. Then this one says Dangote denies NNPCL's $1 billion support claim. Crude obligations default. Details of that you can find on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. NEC releases new tariff, asks Discount to downgrade customers. Well, the issue of power supply in Nigeria is becoming more of a drama. If the national grid is not collapsing, it is that we are not seeing the meters. A lot of homes don't have the prepaid meters. It's nowhere to be found. I was talking with someone that works with one of the persons that works with the authorities, the power holding, and the person was saying, well, we don't have these prepaid meters to give to customers. So a lot of people are being on the estimated bill for a very long time, and that's not the best. NEC releases new tariff every day, increasing tariff. I don't know who is going to be getting this tariff. Is it the band A users or B, C, D, E, F, G? I don't know the band that you are in. I don't know my own band too. Well, we just heard that recently. But then I think one thing needs to be done. Power is very important in this country, because for businesses to thrive, for anything to work in this nation, we actually need a power supply. Now, government begins full tax waiver on drugs by January. Details on page 5. tax reforms. That's the kicker. Clark urges national restructuring, equitable system. That is coming from Clark, an elder statesman from the South. Details you can find on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. The reason says federal government approves zero import duty VAT on CNG LPG equipment. Details you can actually find on page 3. Stakeholders pick holes in Tinubu's reform, knock CBN for FX cash crisis. That's exactly what I was saying. They are the ones to be blamed for all of this drama. Then, still from the Guardian newspaper this morning, this one says state governments playing politics with minimum wage. Civil servants allege. Okay, the last time I checked, lawyers and workers were complaining about the implementation of the local government autonomy. But right here, we're getting to hear that state governors, all right, are playing pranks with the minimum wage. A lot of states have started paying, and some have not really implemented in full. I think this needs to be looked into, and that takes us to the aspect of supervision and accountability. Whoever an assignment is given to needs to be supervised and held accountable. That's the only way we can move the nation forward. And finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, government's failure fueling violent extremism as federal government commits to tackling insecurity. And details of that you can find on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Well, we need to do so much. This season, you need to try as much as possible to be security conscious. Before you board a vehicle, you need to look at it very well. If you're traveling, know the kind of people you travel with, the kind of cars you enter, especially for those who stand on the highway. All this should be taken into consideration. This is going to be the size of the newspaper review for this morning. We're going on a quick break. After this break, we'll return for the first discussion, but then that will be after the AM news. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, many thanks for staying with us. We apologize for that break in transmission. President Bola Tinubu has presented a 2025 budget estimate of 49.7 trillion naira to a joint session of the National Assembly. President Tinubu noted that the budget seeks to restore macroeconomic growth and build the economy. He commended the resilience of Nigerians amid growing economic indices, stressing that inflation will decline according to the budget projections. He also pledged a reduction in foreign exchange. Meanwhile, the National Assembly is to extend the 2024 budget cycle following delays in the presentation of the 2025 budget by President Bola Tinubu. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Capital Markets and Institutions, OSITA, Izumaso, explained that the delayed submission of the budget makes it impossible for it to be passed by the end of December 2024, noting that while the 2024 budget will be extended, the tradition of starting a new year with a new budget has been lost. Izumaso stated that the 2025 budget, due to the late submission, will not be passed before the year ends, adding that while the late submission was unfortunate, it was not a major issue, though it did disrupt the regular budget cycle. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has warned ministers to respect invitations from the National Assembly anytime they are called upon. The Senate President made this known when President Bola Tinubu presented the 2025 budget estimate of 47.9 trillion naira before the National Assembly. Akpabio says such ministers have no place in the country's democracy, and their failure to appear means the Assembly will use its constitutional powers against them. He stressed that the National Assembly has the right to invite ministers to come and defend the allocation given to them and their ministries. In a bid to address the pressing issues of unemployment and skill acquisition in Nigeria, the Progressive Institute of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has organized a 3-day national conference in Abuja. The conference, which kicked off on Tuesday, has brought together stakeholders from various sectors to discuss ways of empowering the nation's youth. Global Television brings you details.
Representing President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, emphasized the President's commitment to addressing the challenges of unemployment and youth empowerment.
A major focus of my government is to address the problem of unemployment, especially among our youth, through several innovations and interventions that will make our youth globally competitive while also upskilling them to address the observations that we have locally.
Speaking at the conference, APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje emphasized the need for urgent reforms in education, healthcare, and protection from violence to secure a better future for young people.
This conference should be considered as an unprecedented attempt by our party to constructively contribute to the government policy efforts to address a major national challenge. It is indeed policy-driven conference, and we wish for its outcome to Mr. President. We hope that the government.
The conference featured a lineup of expert speakers and panel discussions focused on topics such as skill acquisition, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Participants include youth leaders, entrepreneurs, and representatives from government and civil society organizations. As the conference continues, it is expected to provide a platform for young people to share their ideas and perspectives on how to drive economic growth and development in Nigeria. Queen Agaba reporting for Global Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the reconstitution of the executive management of 12 River Basin Development Authorities under the Ministry of Water Resources. Tinubu's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, revealed this in a statement. President Tinubu expects the appointees to use their wealth of experience to bolster the efficiency of the organizations in line with the administration's commitment to bettering the lives of citizens. The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has alerted the public to the sales and distribution of counterfeit Paludex tablets and suspensions across Nigeria. The statement disclosed that the agency also found in circulation a Paludex dry powder for oral suspension for pediatric use, stating that the result of laboratory analysis on both products by a World Health Organization pre-qualified laboratory in Germany indicated 0% active pharmaceutical ingredient in the product. NAFDAC say the agency also sampled and the report of analysis confirmed 0% of API content, noting that the product does not exist on its registered product database. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo says the Fly Nigeria Act will transform into law under his watch. Speaking at a one-day stakeholders engagement on the legal framework for the Fly Nigeria Bill and related enabling legislation in Abuja, Keyamo lamented that the document, which is expected to make it mandatory for government-financed air transportation of government personnel, contractors, grantees and properties to be carried by Nigeria Air Flag carriers, has yet to materialize more than 15 years after it was first proposed. The minister says he would rally all the major stakeholders to push for the bill to be signed into law. Meanwhile, Minister for Aviation Festus Keyamo has commended the proposed Abia Airport at Nsulu as what he described as a veritable enabler for socio-economic development. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony for the project, Keyamo described Abia as the heartbeat of industrialization in the southeast region. He noted that the airport, when completed, would boost socio and economic development in the state. The minister explained that the project was initially conceived as an airstrip by the federal government, but was upgraded to full-fledged airport due to the state governor Alex Oti's intervention and commitment, assuring timely completion of the airport, as well as promising priority appointments and employment opportunities for Nsulu community members. In a related development, no fewer than 13 communities in Nsulu, Isiala, Ngwa North local government area of Abia State have protested the proposed siting of Abia Airport in their villages. The communities, through their council, Sylvester Okonkwo, in petitions to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Inspector General of Police, Director General of Department of State Service and National Security Advisor, say the project, if not urgently stopped, would render millions of the inhabitants with no place to farm in order to feed their families, while other suitable areas had already been acquired from the same people by previous administrations. They argued that an airport cannot be sited on a heavily populated community without consideration of its environmental impact assessment. They warned that the objection to the present location, if ignored, would amount to the destruction of communities and lead to irreparable damages. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has directed an immediate full investigation into a case of a young man reportedly sentenced to death by hanging for stealing a fowl. This was contained in a statement made available to newsmen by the spokesperson to the governor, Olawale Rashid. According to the statement, the state governor ordered the Attorney General of the state to intervene in the matter and ensure the young man is listed for the prerogative of mercy before the end of the year. An Osun State High Court sitting in Ikiru had sentenced Shegu Olowokere, who was 17 years old at that time, for robbing a poultry farm in Oya, Odooti, local government of the state. He was said to have stolen a fowl and eggs. An as yet uncertain number of children, a yet uncertain number of children have reportedly lost their lives in a stampede that occurred during a children's carnival in Ibadan, the state capital. However, it was reported that over 30 children lost their lives, with many others injured during the incident. In a statement released, the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotu Oyelade, confirmed that the stampede occurred at a private children's fun fair at Basharu Islamic High School. Oyelade stated that the government swiftly mobilized a rapid response team following the breaking of the incident. You're watching the Global AM News coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When the AM News returns, Russia detains Uzbek man over general's killing in Moscow. Details of this as well as business and sports stories coming right after the break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the AM News. In business, data from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, shows that monies paid by the federal government as electricity subsidies increased by 199.64 billion naira in December 2024. The newly released report indicates that electricity subsidies rose by 2.76% to 199.64 billion naira this month, from 194.26 billion naira in November. The Commission explained that the rise in the exchange rate, which is pegged at 1,645 naira to the dollar, the increase in inflation to 33.9%, and changes in available generation capacity necessitated the minor review. While Band A customers continue to pay 209 naira kilowatt hour, tariffs for customers in Bands B to E were allowed to remain frozen at the rate payable from December 2022. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery says the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited provided inaccurate and misleading information regarding the details of its $1 billion investment in the refinery's operations, stressing that the facts were misrepresented in a manner that misguides stakeholders and the public about the nature and extent of the investment. The company clarified that the $1 billion crude-backed loan is only 5% of the total investments that went into building the 650,000 barrels per day refinery. The company chief corporate communications officer Olufemi Shoneye at a stakeholders engagement meeting revealed that the national oil firm secured a $1 billion loan backed by crude oil to support the coming on stream of the 650,000 barrels per day capacity refinery. President Bola Tinubu says indicators have shown that the economy is responding positively to stimulus. Tinubu, who said this while presenting the 2024 budget on Wednesday before a joint session of the National Assembly, said the focus of the 2025 budget was to stimulate the economy through implementation of targeted fiscal stimulus packages through public expenditures and specific non-inflationary spending. He stated that the global economic growth for the outgoing year 2024 was projected at 3.2%, and against predictions, the country made significant progress. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has restricted point-of-sale agents, POS, to a daily transaction limit of 1.2 million naira. This was revealed in a circular on cash-out limits for agents' banking transactions, signed by Oladimeji Yisa Taiwo for the Director, Payment System Management Department. The circular stated that the development is in the Apex Bank's effort to advance a cashless economy. The Apex Bank says part of the policy intervention also set a cash withdrawal limit per customer at 500,000 naira per week, and all agents' banking terminals are now set to a daily maximum transaction cash out limit of 100,000 naira per customer, and an agent's daily cumulative cash out limit is now pegged at 1.2 million naira. The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Gbenga Komolafe, says there will be another oil licensing bid round in 2025. Komolafe stated this at the 2024 licensing round commercial bid conference in Lagos. This comes as the Commission nears the end of the 2024 licensing round. He says the Commission has decided to make licensing rounds an annual event to boost oil production. On the foreign scene, Russia's security service says a 29-year-old man from Uzbekistan has been detained over the killing of Senior General Igor Kirillov and his assistant in Moscow. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, head of the Radiation, Chemical and Biological Protection Forces, was outside a residential block early on Tuesday when an explosive device hidden in a scooter was detonated remotely. According to state media agencies, the Russian security service says the unnamed suspect was recruited by Ukrainian intelligence. Meanwhile, the Ukraine security service had already claimed it was behind the killing. Russia is moving a large amount of military equipment in Syria, signaling preparations for a partial withdrawal, analysts say. Satellite images reveal a build-up of military vehicles at a Russian-controlled port and airbase in western Syria. Transport aircraft also appears to have arrived and departed. The Institute for the Study of War suggests this indicates preparations for a reduction or complete withdrawal of Russian forces. The Washington-based think tank added that moving military vehicles to its bases may be a precautionary measure while Moscow negotiates with the new government in Damascus. The death toll from Cyclone Chido in Mozambique has risen from 11 to 45. The National Institute of Risk and Disaster Management made the announcement, saying initial figures released showed the cyclone had claimed 34 lives after making landfall in Mozambique. In its updated toll, the center says 38 people were killed in Cabo Delgado, 4 in Nampula province, and 3 in Niassa, further inland. 1 person missing. The center says nearly 500 people were reported injured by the cyclone, which brought winds of around 260 kilometers an hour and heavy rainfall of around 250 millimeters in 24 hours. Meanwhile, a preliminary study by scientists studying the link between global warming and tropical storms has shown that climate change intensified cyclone Chido as it dialed towards the Indian Ocean archipelago of Mayotte. According to the assessment by Imperial College London, also estimated that cyclones of Chido's strength were 40% more likely in the warmer climate of 2024 compared to pre-industrial times. Classified as a Category 4 storm, the second highest on a 5-point scale, Cyclone Chido crossed the small archipelago where about 1/3 of the populations live in makeshift housing. In sports, the Nigeria Premier Football League has fined Ikorodu City a total of 3 million naira and also banned their fans from watching 2 of their home's games as punishment for the rowdy scenes created by the supporters who also assaulted Remo Stars coach Suleiman Kamil during their Week 16 game at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon. The match ended in a 1-1 draw. The league body also issued a stern warning to all the NPFL club officials and their coaches to refrain from using unsavory expressions about the league while granting media interviews. It specifically reprimanded Shooting Stars coach Gbenga Ogumbote for his outburst after one of the club's games against Ikorodu City FC in Lagos on March Day 12. The league noted that during an inquest, Ogumbote expressed regrets and apologized for his outburst and was directed to issue a public apology. Red Bull Salzburg has appointed German Thomas Lesch as their new head coach. The club made the announcement 2 days after sacking Pep Legendaries over unsatisfactory performances. The Australian club say in a statement, Lesh, who is 56, has signed a contract running until June 30th, 2027. Lesh previously coached the under-16 and under-18 teams of the Red Bull Football Academy and Salzburg UEFA Youth League team. And that's it on the Global AM News, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and the handles showing now on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching, and see you again.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.